Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Merci à tous mes collègues.
Thank you to all my colleagues. Today, it is nearly impossible to believe that 4 years ago, war started. It's hard to believe that there have been 4 years of war in Ukraine because of the brutality of one man, one country, because of Mr. Putin. This war is useless and incredibly cruel.
We are united in this Parliament. I want to thank every one of my colleagues who spoke, the Honourable Minister of Defence, my friend and colleague from Selkirk, Interlake, Eastman, Lac Saint-Jean,
and my colleagues, the members for Lac Saint-Jean and Rosemont, La Petite Patrie. I agree with what they have said. We stand with Ukraine and the people of Ukraine. We are here for you. It is unacceptable to live in a world torn apart by war, by a war we couldn't even have imagined 5 years ago.
That we had. The wonderful thought of the political theorist Fukuyama. It seemed so clear that we had the end of history, as he wrote in 1992, that the political and ideological evolution of nations led inevitably to a time of the rule of law, to liberal democracies that lived within a set of rules that were predictable. A land war in Europe? Impossible. C'est possible d'imaginer.
It's impossible. It's impossible to even fathom. It cannot be true.
And we saw the signs. We saw it was coming, but it still seemed far too impossible to believe. I'll never forget, February 24th, 2022. And I put on for the first time yellow and blue ribbons, and I thought, I'll put these on every day till this awful war is over. Now, Putin thought he could end it in 3 weeks. I thought the world, that the community of nations would stand with Ukraine so clearly that it wouldn't be long before this was over. And the sense of the courage of President Zelensky. And I thought this was the variable that Putin didn't count on. He thought that not that many Ukrainians would stand up and defend their country. He thought, as did the United States at that time, that when they said, "Don't worry, Mr. Zelensky, we're sending a plane for you," and he said, "I need ammunition. I don't need a ride." That was the surprise. A genuine hero of his country, someone actually elected, someone who'd been a comic on television, the unexpected variable of courage that was so unusual in our times, where leadership is in name only. President Zelensky addressed us here for the first time. It's almost 4 years ago since he was here on a TV screen addressing us, and I so wished for the day that he could come back when there was peace in Ukraine. We could celebrate him as the leader who survived a dreadful and unjust war. We still pray for that. We know that Putin miscalculated. If he thought he could end a war in 3 weeks, he miscalculated. The corruption of his own military, the lack of consideration for what it would mean to the world, the solidarity of Europe, that today, on the 4th anniversary, the President of the European Union is there in Ukraine, that today in the United Nations a resolution was carried where 107 nations said, "We stand with Ukraine. We stand with peace." And today, President Zelensky spoke of Putin and of his lifetime political career of destruction, of hatred, of war. And he actually said of Putin, he is war itself. To stand with him is to stand with unending war. I can't help but feel, as I always do since we first started debating in this place what we would do for Ukraine, that we haven't done enough. In some ways, we can't do enough. We have NATO, we have United Nations, we have massive efforts, and I'm grateful, as my colleagues have said, that the government of Canada has consistently stood with Ukraine. I'm grateful that we've welcomed Ukrainian refugees to Canada. But more should be done with sanctions. We need to cripple the Russian economy. We need to do more. We need to seize the assets of oligarchs and see that they are liquidated and that those funds go to the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian government. War can't be the solution to war. More bombs don't bring peace. As other members of the Parliament have said today, peace will come at a negotiating table. But it's extremely important and fundamental that Mr. Putin understand that Canada, every single last one of us, stands with Ukraine, which means Russia has made itself a pariah, and when a government changes, perhaps we can welcome it again into the community of nations. But there was no Russian flag at these Olympics, and there will not be a Russian flag where civilized people gather, because we recognize what President Zelensky has said. Putin is war itself. And now, as we stand here on the 4th anniversary of the beginning of that impossible war, we must make peace possible. On doit choisir la paix.
We must choose peace. We must do all that we can. We must make sure that there is peace around the world, especially for the children of Ukraine, for the people of Ukraine,
who have suffered and died at the hands of Russian forces. And yes, for the Russian mothers, I grieve with them too. They have an impossible leader. He's taken them to heartbreak and disaster. But peace can't just be a dream. We have to make that real. We have to rescue the Ukrainian children who were kidnapped from their families. We have to reunite those families. We have to pour into Ukraine the help that they need so desperately. And with those words, I join all colleagues here. Slava Ukraini! Peace and victory to Ukraine.